You're losing money every single year, but nobody ever talks about it. Picture the exact same basket of groceries. Bread, milk, eggs, a few vegetables. A decade ago, it cost a modest sum. Today, that identical basket costs noticeably more. The bread didn't change, the money did. Stick around, because by the end, you'll have one simple test to judge any inflation hedge claim you ever hear. Here's the plan. First, we'll use that fixed basket to see exactly why prices climb in the first place. Then we'll watch purchasing power erode quietly, year after year, even while your paycheck looks the same or bigger. Finally, you'll walk away with one question that cuts through every hedge, every headline, every sales pitch. Let's build the basket. Imagine 10 everyday items: food, fuel, a bit of clothing, a place to live. Lock that basket exactly as it is. Same items, same quantities, forever. Now, all you're tracking is one number: how many dollars it takes to buy that unchanged basket. That number is the real story of inflation. So why does that number keep climbing? Two forces are always fighting. One side is the basket itself, the actual bread, fuel, and lumber in the real world. The other side is the pile of currency chasing that basket. Inflation is simply what happens when the pile of money grows faster than the basket does. Think of the economy as one giant auction. Every dollar in existence is a bid for a limited supply of real goods. Bread, houses, oil, all finite. If the number of bidding dollars increases faster than the goods being auctioned, each individual dollar has to bid harder just to win the same loaf of bread. Where do the extra dollars come from? Mostly from lending. Every time new credit gets created, new spending power enters the auction room. But the bakery next door didn't suddenly bake more bread to match it. More dollars chasing the same loaves. That gap is where rising prices are born. Prices can also rise from the other direction. A drought shrinks the wheat harvest. A factory shuts down. Now there's less of the actual basket to go around, so the same pile of dollars bids harder for a smaller supply. Either way, the basket costs more money to fill. Here's the trap. Your paycheck might grow every single year, and that feels like progress. But if the basket grows in price faster than your paycheck grows in size, you're actually falling behind while feeling like you're getting ahead. The number in your bank account went up. What it can buy went down. And this erosion compounds. A small yearly price increase barely registers. But let it run quietly for 10, 20, 30 years, and that small number multiplies into something enormous. Let's actually watch it happen to our basket. Say your basket costs $100 today. History suggests prices tend to creep up a few percent most years. That sounds tiny, almost forgettable. But tiny percentages applied year after year don't add up. They multiply. That's the part most people never picture. Run that small yearly creep for 20 years, and your $100 basket can easily become a $180 or $200 basket. The items didn't change. Your currency simply buys less of the same unchanged stuff. That's purchasing power, quietly cut nearly in half. Now imagine you did nothing. You kept your savings sitting in plain cash under the mattress, earning nothing at all. Every year silently, that stack of bills could buy a little less bread, a little less fuel, a little less of everything. You didn't lose the money. You lost what the money could buy. This is why inflation feels invisible day to day, but brutal looking backward. Nobody notices a coffee costing a few cents more this month. But stretch that same drift across a decade, and suddenly the same cup costs dramatically more. Slow motion is still motion. So the real question is never how much money do I have? It's how much of the basket can my money still buy? That single shift in thinking is the whole game of protecting your wealth. Most people track the number in their account. Almost nobody tracks the basket. Here's where it gets interesting. Because this is exactly where most protect your wealth advice goes wrong. People chase assets because they sound safe, without asking the one question that actually matters. That question is coming up next. It's the real payoff here. If this is helping, consider subscribing, more like it is on the way. So what actually protects you? Not a currency, not a headline, not a hot tip. It's simple. Does this asset let you buy roughly the same basket of real goods years from now, regardless of how many dollars exist by then? That's the entire test. Everything else is noise. Apply that test to anything. Real estate, land, productive businesses, precious metals, they've historically held value because their supply is limited or their usefulness is real, while the pile of currency chasing them keeps growing. They tend to track the basket, not just the dollar count. Apply the same test to plain cash sitting idle, or to anything whose supply can be created endlessly with no real-world limit. If more units can always be produced faster than the underlying basket grows, it will struggle to hold its value, no matter what it's called or how popular it becomes. This is also how you spot a bad hedge pitch instantly. If someone can't explain how their asset behaves when the money supply grows faster than real goods, they haven't actually answered the question. They've just given you a story. Ask for the basket test, not the sales pitch. Notice this model needs no year, no headline, no prediction about tomorrow's news. It works exactly the same whether prices are calm or rising fast, because it's not about timing markets. It's about understanding what actually preserves what your money can do for you. Let's bring it home. Prices rise when the pile of currency grows faster than the real basket of goods it's chasing. That gap compounds quietly, year after year, until it's impossible to ignore. And the one thing worth protecting was never the number in your account. It was always the basket. Now, whenever you evaluate a saving, an investment, or a big purchase, run it through that one filter. Will this still buy roughly the same real things years from now, no matter how much currency exists by then? That single habit will serve you longer than any tip or trend ever could. Here's your move this week. Pick one thing you own, cash, savings, and investment, and honestly ask if it passes the basket test. Would you say your biggest worry right now is rising prices, or simply not knowing where to start? Type one word in the comments, prices or start. If this made inflation finally click, subscribe, because we're building this exact way of thinking, one clear idea at a time. Next up, we'll break down which everyday assets actually pass the basket test, and which ones only look safe. See you there.